Who wants to live forever? Who wants to live forever? What do you wonder what I'm doing? Simple. I'm going to talk about one of my favourite films, that being Highlander. Shot in 1986, Highlander and Sean Connery. What a damn good film. And why is it they don't make films like that anymore? Based at first on the olden times, you've got Child, again played by Highlander, as I'm about to say. Well, you could say he is the Highlander. At first, he's watching wrestling. You know, these were the days when wrestling was entertaining. And he's having fast bats. You're thinking, this is, got a minute, this is like the 13th century. Why the fuck is he having bats of the days of the fightings and the Trojans and whatever warrior war he was having? But if you know by what's in Highlander, he's an immortal, but he doesn't know it yet. You get the epic sword fight scene with one of the bad guys, who gets beheaded, and that's when you get the bereavement. Now at first he has the sword and he gets arrested. You do get one detective, which is funny enough, but he's a detective. A couple of years later, in a film, see no evil, hear no evil. I find it funny he played a detective in this. And you could say he could be playing the same character. But you do get fast bats. And also let's not forget the epic song sung by Queen. Freddie Mercury himself. May he rest in peace. I always think it's a delight when you get Freddie Mercury, and this is me being honest, singing a song, you know, by Queen, Lean Rhapsody and all that. Because when you get Queen, they always sing a song. They used one of the songs in a comedy called The Friend of the Nerds. They sang again in Fast Garden. They used the song. If I can remember it, I'm trying to remember it now. We had the Tamperins in the ending title of The Friend of the Nerds and the song Fast Garden. In this, they use loads, and I mean loads, of Freddie Mercury's songs. That being Queen. It's a delight to hear them. You've got them in an epic battle with warriors and knights and all that. And that is then when Freddie Mercury, see? I love Freddie Mercury that much. I'm thinking of him already. And you do get some epic music. And yeah, I'm eating a nice Subway. You do. Queen found a lot, you know. There was even one song that we all remember. It's a China-matic, which funny enough wasn't even going to be used for the film, but it's ideal for the film. It's a China-matic. At first you get the bad guy and you get the epic warrior scene. McDallan, who's one of the villains, stabbed him with that big fucking sword. What a fucking sword. To me, that is an awesome weapon. That is a fucking awesome fucking weapon. Sean Connery, in my eyes, delivers the best performance ever. You know, because when Child gets stabbed by the sword, he cannot die. And that's when he finds out he's the chosen one. So I do like Highlander. I like the songs by Queen, Freddie Mercury himself, may he rest in peace. And that song was so gay, they even used it in the second one. It's just kind of the same here, I mean, because Queen's had some good songs. He's no longer with us. But again, as I said, Highlander, I'm going all over the place, he's the chosen one. He cannot die. Sean Connery meets him on the way, and he just fucking the chick. Again, this is a good performance by Sean Connery. Fuck it, I'll say no more. This is a damn good performance by Sean Connery. Now then, I do know that he did die, and he got beheaded. But in all fairness, I do actually like Highlander, because you know we knew Sean Connery's fate. The medallion then goes into the modern times. Now that time reminds me of another film. That film being Interview with a Vampire. If you've never seen Interview with a Vampire, it's where the vampires are going all through the eras, They're trying to do it in this. And it's sort of sad in one way, because my child, the chosen one by Christopher Highlander, who cannot die, because he's the chosen one, he falls in love. And Sean Connery says to him, you can never fall in love. I've done it, and it's heartbreaking. You see your woman getting old and old and old, like we do. You're going to stay the same age, you cannot die. The only way you can die is to get beheaded. He falls in love. He sees his woman getting old and old and old. She dies. And that's where you get the iconic song, Who Wants to Live Forever? Now it's a team really. I mean, we all want to live forever and keep our youth, but as to play it in Highlander, and you see interview with a vampire, just has similarities, it does get a bit fucking boring, wouldn't it? It gets a bit boring. It's like they say, if you fall in love, you see your woman die, it's not very nice. Especially when you're all looking the same. But, you know, it's a good film. He gets arrested, like I say, my child. And he gets the sword. And you've got baddies on the way. And what a great villain. The one that goes after Christopher Highlander, in my eyes, is an awesome fucking villain. He's an awesome villain. Because all the way through the film, I just love the way that character is. I love the way he saves his head and he says, it's my moustache, do you like it? You can have a live or you can die, oh yeah. And I sort of like that, because he sort of did that type of villain again in the early 90s, that being Pet Sematary 2. So all in all, it's an awesome film. I love Highlander. I don't see no faults in it. Yeah, I knew at the time that Sean Connery gets beheaded, but we knew straight away there's only going to be one. Now you do get the epic fight scene at the end, and again Christopher Highlander falls for a woman. There's also another woman on the way who's like a librarian, and she was like, you know, in the 30s, and you get the idea he saved this little girl in the 30s, you know, World War II and all that. But he does fall in love with this other woman who's sort of like a reporter. And on the way she's getting hints here and there that he's a chosen one. And she kind of gets kidnapped and he goes to save the day. He does have that epic sword fight scene with the bad guy. Cuts his fucking head off, and that's when you get the spirit shucking him up, trying to take his soul. In the air like that, lifts and fights another day. Now we know over the years there have been sequels. You've had Highlander 2, The Quickening, you've had Highlander 3, 4, so on. And you've even had a TV series. There have been loads and loads. But in all fairness, I always thought Highlander was just good as a standalone film. Never needed all the fucking sequels. In my eyes, it was good as a standalone film. But saying that, I do actually like Highlander 2. And that might be the next one I'm going to review. Because Highlander 2, over the years, has got a lot of shit. And I mean a lot of fucking shit. So I'm going to offend Highlander 2 on my next review. Because I don't think it's a bad film. Other than that, Highlander from 1986 is a good performance by Christopher Highlander. It's a good performance by Sean Connery. And I think it's a fucking good one. Other than that, I'm going to give it a 12-star rating. Because I don't see any faults in Highlander from 1986. Check it out. It's a good one. Into then, have a good one.